Okay, everyone, take a deep breath, okay? With me, ready? In and then out. Okay, here we go. Feels good, right? I'm trying not to make any sudden movements here. I am not going to be talking about the substance or the quality of the TV program Heated Rivalry in this video. My thoughts on that are actually irrelevant to the topic. But if you must know, I watched the show like every other person on this planet, and I enjoyed it. I promise. I swear. There was a lot to like about Heated Rivalry, wink wink, but I was particularly really impressed by the acting performances, especially by the two co-leads, Connor Story and Hudson Williams. They are extremely talented and grounded and not nepo babies, which is always a breath of fresh air to me. In fact, I was charmed to find out that they were basically nobodies before this show blew up, literally yanked from their jobs waiting tables. So heartwarming, so inspiring. As soon as I started watching this series, my social media algorithms did catch on and started pushing me so much content about Heated Rivalry. I guess I do fit the target demographic, and the fandom was rapidly expanding at the time. I toil to curate my Instagram Explore page to just be exclusively recipes that I am never going to make. I just like watching them make that food. I love the concept of one day eating that. It's basically my own adult Cocomelon. So imagine my devastation when I watched 2 episodes of Heated Rivalry and all of my recipes have vanished off my Explore page. It's now exclusively content about that show. And again, I liked the show. I just didn't need all that. I need to watch some influencer turn dates into cookies. Twitter changed for me as well, but I got a very different type of content from that app. It couldn't commit to fully flooding me with all Heated Rivalry stuff. So I just got thrown occasional random tweets from deep fandom, referencing things that I did not understand. It became a black hole because I naturally became curious of what they were talking about, and if I could make a video about it, leading me to momentarily engage with the content and then therefore get it recommended more often. My Instagram Explore page went back to recipes pretty quickly. I literally screenshotted to celebrate. But Twitter began thinking I was really in this fan space discussion when I was just nosy and lurking for journalistic purposes. I felt kind of icky when I was pushed these tweets. I felt like I was barging in on family business. And then I saw a post that confused me so bad that I knew I needed to fully commit to figuring out what the fuck was going on. I don't have a screenshot of this post. I don't know who posted it. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. They were declaring in complete earnest that Hudson Williams, the actor who plays Shane Hollander, should be recast for the upcoming season 2 of the show. And this tweet had a few hundred likes and retweets. Huh? What? What did I miss? What did he do? It must have been pretty bad. To suggest that a co-lead be entirely recast for the highly anticipated season 2 of this project, only a DEFCON 10 level cancelable offense would justify such a logistical nightmare. But scouring through the profile of the person who posted it, the profile of the people who liked it, the quote tweets to that tweet, I could not for the life of me identify what pissed these people off. And the moment that came next encapsulates for me why it is so difficult to be chronically online sometimes. You think your next click is harmless. Maybe it'll be amusing. Maybe it'll answer a question. And then it actually opens up a portal to hell. This fandom has a buck wild racism problem surrounding Hudson Williams. Let's say the quiet part out loud. Also, there have been some other think pieces on fan behavior surrounding this show that were released as I was constructing this script, and I would encourage you to read them. Consider them, hear them out if you're interested. I don't feel qualified to talk about how gay men as a whole feel about this show. I think that's more for them to voice, but I'll link them in the description if you would like to enter that discourse labyrinth. So let's establish some backstory. Who is this person? Hudson Williams is 25. He's a Canadian actor. There isn't a lot of known early life information because he hasn't done enough interviews yet, but he went to college for acting and film production, and prior to Heated Rivalry, he seemed to be the starving artist archetype. He was working in the service industry, self-producing short films that he was often starring in and occasionally directing, submitting those films in the film festival circuit, attending an acting school in Vancouver. It's wild. As a starving artist myself, I know many people who are currently grinding like this. When I first saw the negative posts surrounding Williams, I was thinking maybe one of his short films from the past had something suspect in it, but I found no evidence of that being the issue. So what did this guy do to get such backlash? Well, it seems one of his offenses is smoking cigarettes. He's been chain smoking around fashion shows at a rate that is setting the Truth campaign back 40 years. And it seems to be offending some people, despite the fact that unfortunately, smoking cigarettes looks cool as fuck. I don't smoke. I don't recommend it, but like, come on. Objectively, you have to admit, it looks fucking cool. Really, really cool. Especially compared to vaping. Like, if you're gonna shrivel up your lungs, you might as well look badass while doing it. Back to business. Who cares? I guess you can be concerned for his health or something, but that's kind of parasocial. And if you think he shouldn't be doing it because he's a role model now, that's even more parasocial. He was launched into fame practically overnight. He probably didn't have time to kick the addiction before cameras were following his every move. Also, don't know why I have to say this, but smoking cigarettes does not make you a morally bad person. There's an entire Instagram account dedicated to pictures of famous people indulging in a cig. So many other celebrities do it and make no waves. But more on that later. Okay, so people are also angry at him for having a girlfriend. Yikes! He posted a collage of his girlfriend for Valentine's Day and people blew up at him because he plays a gay man on this show, and like, haven't we learned this lesson like 100,000 times? Was terrorizing Kit Connor not enough to demonstrate that the public is not owed every detail of someone's personal life? I don't even feel like I need to talk more about this criticism. Like, it's ridiculous. It's old news. Next reason. He is loud and expressive in public. I came across many nasty tweets about how Williams conducts himself in interviews, the way he posts on social media, the poses he hits in pictures, how he walks red carpets, the list goes on. They believe he's unprofessional, embarrassing. Here come the role model discussions again. He's undeserving. I'm not gonna read off the examples of these posts because I don't like platforming shit like that. None of this is a cancelable offense. It's just his personality. You don't have to enjoy everyone's personality. Click something else. Log off. I personally don't really see why he annoys people. I mean, I am also loud and expressive, often in public. To be cringe is to be free. But if it bothers you, don't watch it. He definitely doesn't have to be recast for season 2. And you definitely don't have to level hateful comments to him online. So why do these sickos do that anyways? Why is he receiving such vile hate? Because these people have a predetermined bias of how the model person of color celebrity should act. There's a notable difference in the way that the fan culture perceives Williams' actions in comparison to Story's. Connor's Story is also loud, outgoing, expressive, and he also smokes cigarettes, but he is white. And perhaps coincidentally, but probably causationally, he is not receiving the same backlash that Williams is over these choices. I assume some of these posters have these biases subconsciously, but some really do not. Posting openly racist shit on the timeline about Williams. There is an entire Google Drive that I found that archives hateful posts that have been sent to and about Williams. A blog post from the Mary Sue writes, "Recently, a fan group on X dedicated to target Williams specifically was exposed. The screenshots of the 63 members' conversations range from racism, sharing ableist edited images, and spreading false information. The post got so vile that some news organizations started picking up the story, including the French outlet Paris Match, publishing an article titled Hudson Williams. Why so much hate? And do you know how bad your racism has to be for the French to be condemning you?" Pop culture writer Stitch authored a piece in Teen Vogue titled On White Queer Fandom and the Erasure of Fans of Color, breaking down this pattern in other fandom spaces throughout the years and chronicling the apprehension that POC fans experience when entering fan spaces because of it. After recounting a few instances of racism in early 2000s fan communities, Stitch writes, "It's been 20 years, and this is still what fandom is like for fans of color, especially queer fans of color who speak up. We are still outgrouped by other progressives in the fandom, have our identities, queer and non-white, erased and turned against us, and above all, are treated like we don't belong in a space we've always been central to creating." And you would think this article would be in response to the heated rivalry situation, right? It was written in 2022. 4 years ago. History is repeating itself, with a new POC actor as the victim, and as the old adage goes, it will be doomed to repeat itself again and again until we are willing to learn from it. I understand I'm coming from the place of a white person, a white fan, and I recognize that I most likely possess some of the implicit biases that I'm talking about in this essay, and it's something that I will always be working on, but I do still think it's important that we are all willing to talk about this and bring attention to the harmful behaviors in any fan spaces that we enter. Fandom as a whole loves to define itself as basically a haven, like a safe space for anyone, and I think it's on all of us to make sure that it's able to actually live up to promises like that. Stitch talks about how it can be difficult when only POC fans are speaking up, writing, "Fans of color who point out the racism in online fandom spaces around queer characters and fans are ruining everyone else's escapism." Speaking of addressing things such as this, on March 9th, Hudson Williams and Francois Arnaud, another actor from Heated Rivalry, made identical posts on their Instagram stories. The Notes app statement read as such: "Don't call yourself a fan if you share racist, homophobic, misogynistic, ageist, ableist, parasocial, bigoted comments of any kind. None of us need your hateful love. We all respect and support and love each other and are on the same side. If you can't accept that, GTFOH. If you can't accept that, get the fuck out of here." That's what it says. I was stunned that Williams and Arnaud made this public statement. The post reads authentic in a way that I could never believe that a PR person would sign off on that, but there isn't a celebrity on earth that fires posts off the dome anymore. Someone on their teams had to read that and approve it. I respected the move immensely. I just could not believe it was allowed to be published. And I'd be surprised if anyone spoke on the topic ever again. Because here's the issue. Fans who have witnessed this online have made many calls to people connected to the show to speak out against this behavior. I've seen Connor Story, showrunner Jacob Tierney, book author Rachel Reed, among others, be the focus of commenters asking them to denounce the hate campaign. And I hate to burst your bubble, everyone, but I would be extremely surprised if that happened. I am extremely surprised that Arnaud joined this post. Surprised in a positive way, that being. And it's not because these people are secretly racist monsters who are hell-bent on Williams's demise. It's because, as loud and horrible as it is, this hate campaign is not loud enough in the grander scheme of culture. There's still a good chunk of people in this world, especially Hollywood regulars, who are not really attuned to the happenings online. Nobody who's commenting this shit is brave enough to bring it IRL. This is a problem contained to the internet. I don't think they're being intentionally malicious by not talking about it. I think they're just being negligent and functionally malicious. Because even if they are aware of what's going on, there is still a reason for them to not make a public statement. You have to be pretty engaged in fan discourse to know that this is happening. If major figures within the show publicly denounce the onslaught of racism that Hudson Williams is receiving, they might inadvertently be telling a whole bunch of people who didn't know there was these vile comments out there that they exist, kind of putting the hateful speech through a megaphone. It will also point out how long they've waited to address this, a length of time that grows more embarrassing for them by the day, further enticing them to stay neutral. It's admirable and justified for Williams to stand up for himself, and good that Arnaud chose to stand with him. But if you're wondering about the silence from everyone else, that is probably the reason. There is an element of mystique and exclusivity to celebrities' activities in the traditional film and television space. They are not like internet stars by design. They are not democratized personalities. While it is seen as normal and basically expected for viral stars to hop on their social media accounts and share their thoughts on anything and everything, like I'm doing right now, traditional Hollywood-connected celebrities are not supposed to act like that. It would dispel the smokescreen, the idolized version of them in everybody's heads that makes them seem above the common folk, almost inhuman. Double-edged sword, as being seen as an entity more than a person makes you much more susceptible to online hatred. Executives and agencies will want their celebrities to keep it vague and not upset anyone too much and keep the illusion intact. These crazies are engaging with the show at the end of the day, and I'm sure you've all heard the line, "all press is good press." But that illusion is easy to maintain when you're not being verbally hunted for sport by bigoted people, leading to POC celebrities like Williams being faced with the choice to put up or shut up or address it and cause a scene. I think Williams making this statement will hopefully be a stepping stone in changing the standard industry response to things like this, so no one else has to suffer in silence. I know it's hard to imagine, but celebrities are people too. And I think this whole saga thus far has been a chilling depiction of how megawatt fame can morph who gets to be viewed as a human being. Going back to the fandom element, because that's the real actionable item here. We consumers don't have much say in how the celebrity machine changes its unwritten rules, but we can start to change the culture on the back end in our fan spaces. I really loved this quote from the Teen Vogue piece that I mentioned earlier. "Fandom is all about choice. We choose what media to hot glue onto the pieces that already make up our personality. We choose who our friends are, what we talk about, and who we talk about or don't talk to. Online fandom functions as a social network held together by choice. So when queer fandom chooses to be racist, it fractures relationships and communities, and it's not only really frustrating, it's devastating to countless other fans of color. How many times will we let this happen to POC actors and fans alike, who are, just like the rest of us, looking for a place to belong and media to enjoy? This is not something where the average person is completely powerless. Don't let other fans get away with racism when you see it in fan spaces for things that you like. If it's heated rivalry or a different show that you like, or if it's music, if it's a movie, call them out, report their comments, ostracize them from the fan community that you want to create. I don't engage with fandom as much as I used to, but I will always remember how much joy it brought me when I was growing up, and no one should have that experience, that connection shattered by bigotry. We shouldn't let that happen. Guys, this one was crazy. They dropped that statement literally the day before I was going to film this script, so I had to rewrite and move around a bunch of things. This research process has been a roller coaster that I am very happy to be getting off right now. I hope you enjoyed. If you felt called out by this, good. I feel like I'll probably have more to say in the future about fandom, culture, and ethics and stuff. It was really fun to think about, and it's something that is so new, so there isn't a lot of literature on that yet. You can like this video, you can subscribe, you can do whatever you want. You can follow me on the hell site of Twitter as well, or on Instagram, where you can DM me a recipe that I'll never make. Be back soon with more yapping. Thanks for watching.